Would Greater Milwaukee Urban League Board member Larry Leverett, who is also the Vice President of Johnson Controls, please come to the stage? And I would also like to ask that President and CEO Dr. Eve Hall and Board Chair John Salemi come to the stage as well. As they come to the stage, I want to mention that Larry Leverett is also the Chief Ethics and Compliance Officer and General Counsel in Global Services. So please welcome Larry to the stage for a special check presentation from Johnson Controls. You'll want to clap loud for this one.
Good evening. I am delighted to represent Johnson Controls and present this check this evening. This check is the answer to a question that Johnson Controls and all of us were compelled to ask more than a year ago, at the height of a global pandemic, and in the shadows of what felt like to me news report after news report of unjustified killings in Black communities. The question that we were compelled to answer is, who will we be in this moment? Johnson Controls had to choose. Would we send thoughts and prayers, or would we take action? And Johnson Controls, like so many of you in the organizations that you represent here tonight, chose action. And in our view, there was no better way to take action than to partner with the Greater Milwaukee Urban League and the National Urban League to support them as they executed their mission to bring more justice, more equity, more inclusion, and more jobs to our communities. Therefore, it is my great pleasure to present to you, Dr. Hall, on behalf of Johnson Controls, a check to the Greater Milwaukee Urban League and the National Urban League in the amount of $1.95 million to support the vital work that you lead. Thank you.
So, Dr. Hall, this contribution is truly historic.
Yes.
And a big deal. Something that I know the Greater Milwaukee Urban League does not take lightly at all.
We are grateful to Johnson Controls. I would be remiss to not only recognize Mr. Newman Leverett, but also Grady Crosby, who could not be here tonight, who was over the foundation. And he and I talked many, many times about the importance of support for organizations like the Urban League. And he was very committed, as was Larry and Anne Marie. So please know that we take this to heart. This will be life-changing, and you can trust in the work of the Greater Milwaukee Urban League. Plus, you're on the board, so you'll be watching us anyway.
Yeah.
But thank you. Let's give them a round of applause.
Is that not amazing? $1.95 million. Come on, you guys can do better than that, please. Let's that we can. I mean, that is incredible, and such a strong commitment to the Greater Milwaukee Urban League. Strong organizations don't just happen. You know, it takes strong leadership for organizations to thrive, and that leadership, well, it begins at the top of an organization with, as we just heard, a board and executives. The Greater Milwaukee Urban League is so fortunate to have found an exceptional leader in President and CEO Dr. Eve Hall. As head of the President and CEO of the organization since 2017, Dr. Hall has worked to develop innovative programs and establish new relationships to help the Milwaukee Urban League create more opportunities for success in Milwaukee's African American community. She is sharply focused on the future and how Greater Milwaukee Urban League can continue to build and grow a strong Milwaukee for everyone, not just the people in this room, everyone. In preparation for tonight's event, I personally have been able to witness the passion that Dr. Hall has for this organization, and I have to say that it's really inspiring. She was here until midnight last night. Making sure that every detail of this event was perfect, because she is dedicated to this city, to all of you, and to Greater Milwaukee. So, with that, it is my pleasure to welcome the one and only, the diva, the queen, President and CEO of the Greater Milwaukee Urban League, Dr. Eve Hall.
Thank you, and thank you, Amanda. She was with me last night, too. She didn't stay till midnight, but that's okay. I said she needed to go, but I mean, incredible lady. Let's give her a round of applause, please. I mean, she came in, she was moving bottles, moving plates, I mean, whatever she could do to help. And so that makes a difference with us. So good evening and welcome. Isn't it wonderful to be back again at the ball? Okay. You know, if there is anything this past year has emphasized, is not to take anyone or anything for granted, and to express gratitude whenever you can. With that, I want to start by showing my appreciation for everyone who not only made tonight possible, but who show up every day for the Greater Milwaukee. First of all, thank you, Blake, Cecilia, for leading the way in returning us to an in-person gala. Thank you very much. And by the way, Blake, we do know how to pronounce your name. Our national president just wanted to give it a bit of a French flair, so. To my tireless event leaders, my strategist and fund development consultant, Florida Perry Smith, I know you saw Florida's name all over the place, and my chief administrative officer, another name that you see all the time, Tangela Wilson. If they could please stand and stay standing. Denise Calloway is part of our team. She could not be here tonight, but I'm giving her a shout out and a thank you because she does our PR and marketing. With my staff and other consultants who make it happen for us every day, stand up. They are in the back of the room. Let me tell you about them. Stand up, staff. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Everyone turn around. Please give them a round of applause. So not only do they put the time in every day and the passion and commitment to the people we serve, when it's ball time, they're here working too. So it's not just me, it is that team. John thanked Patty Cadorn a little bit earlier, but I want to personally also say thank you, Patty, for saying yes to me, to being the ball chair this year, and to the ball committee members once again. And to Jackie Herdbarber. So Jackie has been a past co-chair, she's been a past chair of the board, but you know she coordinated as a volunteer the black and white ball for 13 years, and guess what? She's still right there by our side. Thank you, Jackie, for never leaving us. Another expression of appreciation, which was shared earlier, but I still want to say it personally, Dr. Joan Prince, Kathy Jacobson, who she's not here tonight, but Carrie is in her place. Last year was a rough year, you all. We didn't know what we were going to do, but they came in, and we still had a successful ball, albeit virtual, and we had a presenting sponsor through them. That's a lot. Thank you again for being there with us. And Jim Strack, when I say a relentless fundraiser and push, he was there for us as our ball committee chair last year. Thank you, Jim. My forward-thinking board chair, he's always ready to do something different, something bold, even if people may not necessarily agree. He stays by my side. Thank you, John Salemi. And all of my board directors, thank you for what you do and the trust that you put in me. My auxiliary presidents, Cynthia Stokes-Murray, who is over the Guild, Michelle Brown, who is over the Young Professionals, thank you to their leadership, and any of the members of the Guild and the Young Professionals who are here tonight for the service they provide during the year with our programs and fundraising. Would you stand? Young Professionals, Guild, wherever you are, Cynthia and Michelle. I want to give a shout out to Kohl's CEO, Michelle Gash. She would have been here joining you, Blake, and you, Mr. Miller, but she couldn't be here tonight, Gavin. But Kohl's has been huge for us. We have been upgrading our building. They provided in-kind executive furniture as well as huge contributions. So I just want to say thank you to Kohl's for their support. And Gavin, I'm glad you made that plane from London. Thank you. Major shout out to Dr. Ruben Anthony. He is my counterpart as president and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Madison here in Wisconsin. Stand up. And his wife, Wanda. And then we have a very special guest, my colleague, President and CEO, who flew in last evening to be here with me. She is my sister and friend in the movement who welcomed me, Nancy Flake Johnson, who is the President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Nancy. And finally, I just want to give a shout out to our esteemed elder that everyone knows. He is the unofficial mayor, and he is often referred to as that mayor, Mr. Reuben Harpole. Mr. Reuben Harpole. And I call him Pop. I've known him since that time. Those of you who know me know that my mother, Joyce A. Hall, would be here tonight. She's never not been sitting at one of these tables. But health challenges, she had to be with us virtually. But I need to just take this moment to tell you about Joyce A. Hall, a retired reading teacher who turned 90 years old in August. Many of you have seen her, you've known her. She has always believed in looking for the best in everyone. Education has been her passion and her focus forever. It's teachers like my mother, to be honest, who make a difference in the educational advancement of children, whether it's here in Milwaukee or teachers like my mom around this country. And education is part of our huge focus in the Urban League. So to be able to know that this woman who spent her life as an educator will have the MPS George Washington Carver Academy Library named in her honor because of the many lives she's impacted. So I know she's watching. We have a caregiver with her tonight. So I want you to join with me to just say at the count of 3, congratulations, Joyce Hall. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Joyce Hall. Hey, Mom, I hope you heard that. All right, now for my brief message, and I promise. It's a call based on this year's theme, Working Together, We Are Hope in Action. Because attitude and actions will determine how far we can go in Greater Milwaukee. Hope in action, what does it mean? It means guiding a person's dreams and goals and making them a reality. It means there is still opportunity to identify someone's individual gifts and talents, no matter what they've been through. It means you can make something of your existence that brings joy, that brings a quality of life, and contributes to making our society better. Hope in action, what does that mean? It means making a commitment to work with others, to identify the problem, and exploring ways to solve the problem, instead of sitting around and waiting for someone else to do something about it. It means everyone in this room leveraging our resources, individually and collectively, to help others rise. I will cover my hope in action in 3 parts. People in the room, real talk, timing is everything. Part 1, people in the room. Look around this room. We have a room full of game changers. Game changers representing different races, cultures, backgrounds, and experiences, from business to nonprofit, to community, to civic organizations, to churches. No matter the circumstances that brought you to this event, you have the influence or ability to make an impact somewhere in your world professionally and or personally. Last year, 2020, our theme was Together We Rise. Well, we have risen from last year's initial shock that brought normalcy to a halt. And even though the pandemic is still present in 2021, we are making our way back slowly but surely, just by our mere presence in this room. That's why this year's theme is Working Together, We Are Hope in Action. In the individual roles we are playing as game changers in this room, let's ask ourselves, are we hope in action? Within our individual spheres of influence, are we motivating, are we encouraging those who cross our paths to become the best they can be? Are we offering the resources or guidance to help them get there? Whether they are in our companies, our organizations, in the community, or our civic work. Everyone needs help. None of us in this room got to where we are without someone lending a hand. Are we hope in action? Part 2, real talk. Real talk. We have always been in a country, a world for that matter, where the majority of the wealth is controlled by a small percentage of the population. We have always been in a world where skin color has been used too often to marginalize and penalize. We have always been in a world where socioeconomic equities for just a simple quality of life can be a struggle. We have always been in a world where included, but not limited to, people's religious beliefs, level of ability, sexual orientation, or gender identity have been targets of criticism. And we have always been in a world where inclusivity for women has been a challenge, and where the social and economic gaps between blacks and whites continue to widen, catalyzed further by the pandemic. And one of the most sensitive and divisive subjects, called politics, where all political parties, too many times, become immersed in power versus empowerment. To the realities I have just mentioned, how are we hope in action? You see, we have a right to be angry. We have a right to be frustrated. And we have a right to be disappointed and even hopeless at times, because the challenges can become so overwhelming. But as game changers in this room, we must be hope in action. We cannot get stuck in negative feelings or attitudes or give up. Instead, We must rise above these circumstances and be part of paving a path to a collective and more unified and inclusive community where everyone has a real chance to win. Are we hope in action? Part 3, timing is everything. Greater Milwaukee, this is our time. How many times have we said that Milwaukee is the best kept secret? If only more people knew about us. This is such a great place. And again, we have problems. I'm not dismissing that, but so does every urban city in America. But working together, we can be hope in action, continuing to make a change. So for a moment, let's focus on our assets, on what we have, instead of focusing on our deficits and what we do not have. Because of several major attention grabbers, eyes are now on us. Just what we wanted. Eyes are on us. Beginning with the Democratic National Convention. It didn't happen here, but guess what? It provided us 523 million media impressions. People who didn't know about us are now calling Visit Milwaukee, calling Peggy Williams-Smith about our city. To the world champion Milwaukee Bucks, playoff run. Go Bucks. Which created $57.6 million in economic impact and put Milwaukee on the world stage. Not just the US stage, but the world stage. Then there was the Ryder Cup, worth $135 million in economic impact to our region. In terms of diverse leadership and talent, while we are in some key roles in education, in government, nonprofits, business, and entrepreneurial ventures, we can still do better. Thus, the Region of Choice initiative, launched by the MMAC, consists of key Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 companies pledging recruitment, retention, and advancement of Black and brown talent. And right here outside this building, led by CEO Marty Brooks, the recent groundbreaking for the Wisconsin Center District expansion was held. This expansion will attract more conventions to the city and create over 1,100 on-site construction jobs and as many more off-site. It will generate more than $100 million in wages to help restart the economy. And after completion, the expansion will support almost 2,300 full-time Wisconsin jobs. We have the attention of the country and the world right now. How do we maximize the growth Milwaukee is seeing right now and make sure that Black and brown people who live in this city are not left out as we continue to rise and attract more opportunities? This question is important to everyone because whether people realize it or want to admit it, all of our lives are intertwined. Working together, we are hope in action. In closing, we are game changers in this room. For example, we have Raynetta Hill, many people refer to her as Ray, who is bringing her economic development skills as the new MLK Drive bid director. We have Beth Warrick, who continues to provide opportunities for everyone to enjoy Milwaukee's beautiful downtown as a longtime bid director. We have Dr. Bert Davis, who is reopening the Black Holocaust Museum in February and highlighting the importance of African American history. We have Raynell Washington, who continues to forge business relationships and highlight young professionals. And we have Arvind Gopatlanam, who forges ties between the Milwaukee Bucks and community and civic organizations, and Carl Mueller, who brings different people together with varying perspectives to develop project-oriented solutions. Companies and corporations are game changers too. Some of those CEOs are right here in this room. Gavin Hattersley, the CEO of Molson Coors, is right here. Blake Moret, CEO of Rockwell Automation, is right here in this room. I think Vicki Martin may be here as president of MATC, here in this room. And I mentioned Michelle Gass, who couldn't be here, but is still here in spirit. And that is just a small sample of game changers in this room and in this city and state, and those who support the Greater Milwaukee Urban League. So I challenge you, all of you, to work together. Be hope in action. Do this by creating a more equitable and prosperous city and region that builds on multiple economic opportunities before us with diverse talent. Magnify the people who are trying to do the right thing. Magnify the entrepreneurs who are trying to change the tide. Magnify the organizations and companies that walk the talk of equity and equality and still increase their bottom lines. Because this is what the founders of the Urban League did. Happy 36th annual Black and White, everyone. I thank you.